So how do you navigate a life where there is uncertainty? It's human nature to think what if, but it's also human nature to avoid thinking what if. And the reality is, how do you pace yourself? It's like, if we use the sports analogy, you've been told you're running a marathon, but no one tells you the course. So do you go really, really, really hard and collapse exhausted like the Scottish marathon runner and need medical help? Or do you sort of take your time and get to the end and think, oh, could have done better than that? Sweet. How do you pace yourself? How do you deal with uncertainty? How do you plan? And I don't have a magic answer for that, but I do have information about what people have told me. And I'll talk about that. One of the first things, I think, is to actually allow yourself to hear the medical reality and not look at the media hype. I think until probably the last 4 or 5 years, there had been this sort of trenchant resistance to the notion that anyone could have advanced breast cancer, and there was even greater resistance to the notion that anyone could actually die from this illness. And when you're actually in an environment where no one mentions the elephant in the room, it's very, very hard to be able to actually talk, to plan, to think, to discuss what matters to you. This actually looked at articles from newspapers and magazines. Only 57 out of 436 articles mentioned that aggressive treatments could fail to cure or extend life. You know, we're encouraged to believe there's a cure for everything and it's just around the corner. When someone's actually done an experiment with one rat in a lab, I think that makes it very hard to be in an environment where you can freely talk about the reality and the uncertainty. So how do you cope and how do you actually not be devastated and overwhelmed? I think the first thing is to get information. Now, I know that no one wants to be told that things are not going well for them. However, my experience over 25 years is that most people say if they have a sense of where things are heading, they can actually pace themselves better. They can actually plan, they can make arrangements. I think the other thing is, even if you don't know what's happening, it is a really helpful thing to think about the what ifs. Now, no one wants to go there, but every single person I've ever had who's had that what if discussion actually feels like a weight's been lifted from their shoulders. Actually sit down saying, if I got really sick, this is what I would want, this is where I would want to be, this is what I would want done. Now, you may never have to access that.